Hi guys, this is Loli. Welcome to my channel. Today we have an amazing collaboration. We have the napkin exchange. For this month, we have a group of 16 crafters pouring their hearts through their projects and bringing you lots of inspiration. This challenge is hosted by Sarah from Sunflowers and DIYing. Our channel will be linked in my description box along with a playlist so you can enjoy all the projects from all these talented creators. Okay, no more waiting. Let's jump in. DIY number 1. For this DIY, I used one of these snowflakes from the Dollar Tree. I removed the tag and I'm going to use my Waverly Antique Wax to stain it. And this is how it ended up. And I'm going to use one of these napkins that I got at the Dollar Tree. What I'm going to do is remove one of the circles and I'm going to leave some of that light blue as a border as well. I removed one of the plies and I just remained with the one that had the printed image. But first I wanted to distress this a little bit. I used some of my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint and I'm going to go ahead and distress all of the edges of the snowflake. If you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Then I took my Mod Podge and I'm adding some to the center of the snowflake. And I'm going to do a thin layer of it and I will be pressing down my napkin right onto the middle. I made sure everything was straight and I slowly pat it down, making sure that no air bubbles were left behind. I really wanted this to blend in into the wood, so I used my roller, my Mod Podge roller, just to press it down really nicely so the brown will show through the paper and it will look more natural. Then I decided that I wanted to distress this a little bit more just to bring the white in and help this blend in with the middle of the napkin there as well. So I just came in with a little bit more distressing on the ends just to make it a little bit whiter, just to tie things in and just give it a little bit more of a brighter look and more of a frosty look. I truly loved how the grain came out after I have done the antique wax on this wood, but the more that I added white to it, the better I liked it at the same time. So I ended up adding distress to the entire snowflake, and I think this just brought it to a different level, and having that brown peek through was just beautiful. So I just went over it with a dry brush with the entire thing, making sure to add some of that brush strokes onto the edges of the paper as well, just to bring everything together. Then I decided that we needed some sparkle, so I took some Mod Podge and I applied it all around the border of the napkin, and I just make sure to put somewhat of a thick coat so the next step will be a lot easier. I took some of the fall snow from the Dollar Tree and applied it all over the Mod Podge, pressed it down to make sure that we had some adherence. Then I did the same thing with the edges, adding the Mod Podge all around the edges, and I just kept adding the snow, fall snow all the way around as well until it was completely covered all the edges. While that was drying, I took one of these wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. At this point I said, the snowflake is not going to be enough, I need to do more. So I decided to make a wreath of it. So I took some of these snowballs from the Dollar Tree. I used a total of 6 packs. And I'm going to use 2 of these Decor mesh from the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to wrap my entire wreath form with it. I used 2 packs in order to completely hide the wire and have more of that snowy feel. I didn't use any glue until the complete end, so I just wrapped it around tightly on itself, and then when I got to the end, that's when I used a little bit of hot glue to keep everything in place. This was the exact moment that I realized I did not plug in my hot glue gun. So I plugged it in and moved on to the next step. In a container, I mixed some of the white fall snow from the Dollar Tree with a little bit of the blue fall snow from the Dollar Tree. And I just mixed it well. And I took the snowballs and added some Mod Podge to it all around it and spread it around and started dipping the snowballs into the mixture. I made sure to spread the Mod Podge all around the ball and to also coat the entire ball with the faux snow as well. You guys see that huge mucus light piece of Mod Podge? Does that happen to your Mod Podge as well, or is it just me? I was getting towards the end of my bottle there, but I just kept working with it until I finished all of the balls. And here they are all completed. I came back to my wreath and my hot glue gun is warm and hot and ready to work. So I went over and I tacked that in, making sure to not burn my fingers. And I trim away any excess that will show on the other side of the wreath form. Now here comes the fun part. We started gluing the snowballs onto a wreath form, and I kept working in groups of 3. I will hold them in place. I wanted to make sure that that glue dried before, and I just kept doing that until I was completely done with the entire wreath form. And guys, this is gorgeous. I brought over the snowflake that started everything, and I'm going to embellish it a little more. I used some of this craft mark paint from Michael's, and it's just like a sparkly paint. It's like clear, but it just gives you like a crystal-like finish. I added it onto all of the snowflake ends there. It was the middle, and I also added some on top of the sign or the napkin that says Winter Wishes, just to tie everything in. And I also like that it brought over some of that wood piece. I dried everything with my heat gun, making sure everything was nice and dry, because I'm going to be coming in with some stickers from the Dollar Tree as well. They are little foam snowflakes in blue tones and silver tones. I made sure everything was dry, and now I'm going to add some of the darker blue flakes onto the 4 corners of each of the snowflakes here. You'll see I'm skipping one in between, and I'm using the dark ones every other place, leaving the top where the hole is open. And there you see what I mean, in the 4 corners. And then I'm going in with another one. Here I was deciding whether I wanted to use the light blue or the silver, so I'm comparing to see which one would look better, and I went for the blue instead. So because we already have quite a lot of white, so that kind of looked like it was getting lost. So I decided to go with the light blue, and I stick them on the other snowflakes that didn't have any, but I still left the one that had the hole open because I have other plans for that. Now it's time to attach the snowflake to all the snowballs. So I just put some hot glue in all the areas where the snowflake touched the snowballs and tacked it down. Make sure that everything was dry. Here I'm giving it a little bit more sparkle, adding more of that paint with the glitter, and just bringing out those things. And there you go. You can see how much darker that became. Now I took some of this ribbon from the Dollar Tree in the silver color, and I'm just doing an awareness symbol, and I scrunch it at the middle. Then I'm scratching it all together, and I'm going to tie using a tiny piece of floral wire. But wait, we're not done yet. We have to bring some more sparkle onto this. So what I did, I put this bow to the side, and I brought in some more ribbon. This is a little bit more sparkly from the Dollar Tree as well. It is so shimmery, and it's kind of like a mesh. So I just did another awareness bow, scrunched it in the middle. I just made it smaller, so this will be on top of the other. And I just took the remainder piece of floral wire, and I tied this one at the center using the same piece of wire. Do you think we're done? No. There's more to do. I took some of this blue ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I cut a tiny little piece of it, and I am going to wrap it in the middle where both of these bows meet, just to give it a little bit more focal interest and to tie the other colors into the bow as well. I just used some hot glue to attach it, but guys, I burned myself again. So I went to the Dollar Tree. I got myself some more of these little finger protectors because I couldn't find the ones I had, and I am using it this time because I am starting to lose all sensation on that finger. So Here I attached everything into place, make sure everything was dry. I fluffed off my bows, and now we're getting ready to attach it. But first we have to dovetail the ends. So I took the ends on there, dovetailed both of the silver solid color, and I just wanted to trim a little bit of the secondary bow there, the smaller bow, to be in the same angle and height as the other, and just tidying things up. Did that. Another look, I'm satisfied. So now it's time to attach this as well. I used a generous amount of hot glue, put it down on there, held it in place until it was dry. And you think that I'm done, right? No, I'm not done yet. I need a little bit more detail here. So here I'm like, it's too blank on the ends. So I took some of these pine picks from the Dollar Tree. They do have a silvery glitter look to them. I just cut them in half and I put them in between where the snowballs meet with each other. In the beginning, I was using hot glue, and then I realized that the mesh was keeping them in place and no hot glue was necessary. So of course, I can always redo this if I want to and not have glue all over my pine. So I just added the hot glue right in the middle where the two snowballs joined, all the way around the entire wreath. And I just needed to bring in some nature back into this. So this is my way of adding some greenery and balancing things out a little bit. I forgot to mention that I also trimmed the wire ends off because they are way too long, and then trimmed the piece onto 2 halves so I can use them in 2 different places. And now we are not done yet. We need a hanger. So I took some of this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I just twirl it around. I put a knot on each end of it. You'll see me here how I did it. And then I realized, you know what? We need to, reinforce this a little bit better. So I think it's best to put just some hot glue on the nuts and then hold it in place till it dries, and then douse it with a little bit more hot glue, because I know this is going to be out in the winter, not in the summer. So it's fine to have the hot glue. That will not be an issue with heat, but just got to make sure everything is secure. And while I had this like this, I just wanted to give it a little extra support. Put in some hot glue on the sections where the snowballs meet the board there, just to make sure that everything stays on its place. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually done with this project. Yes, I am finally satisfied. And here it is, all completed. This, I have to say, is my pride and joy right now. I love this piece because it's so magical, and at the same time it's rustic, and it just screams winter to me. So I love it. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you ever seen anything like it. I don't think I ever seen anybody done anything like this before using snowballs. So let me know what you think, and I love it. Please give me a thumbs up. Let me know how you feel and show me some love. Okay, friends, DIY number 2. For this one, I used one of these little cotton boards from the Dollar Tree, and I used some of my Rust-Oleum linen white, and I painted the inside portion of the cotton board there. I did 2 coats. Next, I came in with some of my Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm going to paint it with it in long strokes. I'm trying to achieve the illusion of wood. I also did this in 2 coats. Once I was done, I just cleaned off the edges with a little wet wipe, just making sure everything is nice and tidy on the red areas. And I went in with my heat gun and dried up the paint. Then I took one of these napkins. This napkin was sent to me in last month's napkin challenge by Gwen. All of these napkins are so beautiful. If you notice, I used your napkins to do most of these. And I love the vintage look. So I just removed the back end, cut it to size, and I'm gonna take some of the Mod Podge and I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna put it in the entire area because the napkin doesn't go all the way up. I want that finish there to be protected as well. So I added the Mod Podge, put my paper down, make sure to make everything nice and smooth, removing all the bubbles. I use my roller to bring the piece more into the surface. And here I'm just trimming off some of the paper that went over to the other sides. And I'm using my little utility knife. Then I'm coming in with some of this cord. It's like gold and cream color. I got this from Michael's and I'm just putting them all around the edges to give it a little bit more detail. Then using the same jute twine, I made a quick bow by just wrapping the jute around my fingers and then tying it in the middle using the same cord. Then I glued the ball right onto where the two cords meet to cover up that seam. Many might have stopped right here, but I'm a little extra, especially this weekend that I did this. I had to do more. The first thing I did was burn off all the little straggly ends on the jute just to make sure that everything looked very tidy. Then the seam there between the wood and the paper was bothering me, so I wanted to cover it up with a little bit of jute. So I just wrapped it twice around just to cover up that seam. I actually wrapped it 3 times. I tacked everything down using some hot glue, and if you notice here, I got smarter and used my silicone spatula. And of course, I'm not done again. For some reason, the top part looked bare to me, so I needed to add something to it. So I just wrapped the same jute all around it and tacked it with a little bit of hot glue as well. And then this will really be the last step on here for now. Finally, I tacked everything down and here we are. This is the finished product. It just looks so vintage. I love the look of it. That napkin has so much detail. I love it. It has that like old-fashioned Santa and I don't know, their traditional colors as well. I'm bringing in some wood effects. Let me know what you think about this one. I am in love. And now we are going to move on to DIY number 3. For this project, I used one of these shadow boxes from Michael's. It comes for 99 cents. And I painted the background with the linen white Rust-Oleum chalk paint. And I'm going to paint the walls and the outside and back with the Waverly Antique Wax. I let the wax sit for a little bit and then off camera, I came back in using one of the wet wipes and I just wiped off the excess wax. Now I'm coming in with the napkins. I'm going to measure the amount that I need. First thing I'm going to do is unfold it and see exactly what part of the image I want. I'm going to cut out one of the images. It comes of 4. And then I'm going to place it down into my shadow box. But then I realized there's another paper. So I had to remove the other paper that was in there still. And I am placing the printed side onto my shadow box. And there you see the second paper. It was a 3-ply for some reason. And placing it down onto my shadow box to try to figure out exactly how I want it. And I'm going to go ahead and apply some of my Mod Podge and lay it down carefully, and I'm going to be doing this in small sections. My roller is too big for this piece, so I just use my hands and my spatula to help me with the corners and to make sure that all the corners were tacked down. I put in some more of the Mod Podge in those areas, and then I'm using my heat gun to help me dry things pretty quickly. And here I am cutting off the excess using my utility knife, being extremely careful not to tear the napkin. Then I came in with some floral moss from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to apply some hot glue to the bottom part of the shadow box, and I'm putting some of that floral moss down in that area. Then I used one of these mini trees from Dollar Tree, and I applied it to one of the corners of this as well. To camouflage the little trunk of the tree, I added some more hot glue to the bottom part of it and added some more of the floral moss right on top. I removed all the excess moss from the area, and I took some of the hot glue and added to the top and sprinkled some of that fall snow from the Dollar Tree right on top to give it a little wintry scene. Then I added hot glue all along the sides of the shadow box, and I added some of that mixture of the moss together with the snow. I wanted this project to be a bit rustic. I dragged a line of hot glue down to my mat, and I added that mixture of moss and snow. When the hot glue was almost cool, I made sure to move it around so it would be easier for me to lift it up, and I wanted all the sides to have some of that moss and the fall snow as well. I just wanted this piece to like dangle from somewhere so it looked like a vine, just to give it a little bit more of a frame look and winter vibe. Now it's time to embellish things, so I'm going to use some of this white ribbon from the Dollar Tree to make a bow. I made an awareness bow, then brought it closer and cinched it in the middle, tied it with some floral wire, dovetails the ends, and glued it to the top of the shadow box. For further embellishment, I took one of the pine cones that I got from a scatter set at the Dollar Tree and glued it to the front of my bow. And just to give the bow a little bit more stability, I took one of the same little pine cones and glued it to the top, just to give the bow a little bit more surface area to stay in place. And this is complete. Here is the finished product. This is like so magical. I love the rustic look of it. I like the glitter like look of it, the sparkly. I was thinking I would put in lights in it. Maybe I will. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know which one of these projects was your favorite, and leave me a like. If you have not subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Be blessed, be a blessing, and don't forget to craft responsibly. Thank you so much. Here's my social media pages if you would like to follow me on those. And thank you so much again. Have an amazing day. Thank you. Bye.